Have you ever wondered if everything you've learned about space is true? Now, that's a thought that might just send your mind into orbit. Today, we're embarking on a cosmic journey to debunk some of the most common space myths that have been floating around, like unidentified flying objects in our collective consciousness. From the dark side of the moon to the chill factor in the universe, there's a whole galaxy of misconceptions that we're eager to set straight. But why does it matter? Well, just like a black hole. These misconceptions can distort our understanding, bending the light of truth into loops of misinformation. So let's strap in, ignite our engines of curiosity and blast off towards the truth. No, we're not promising a journey to the stars, but we do guarantee a ride filled with revelations and reality checks. Get ready to have your universe expanded as we delve into some of the most common space misconceptions. Ever heard of the dark side of the moon? Well, it's not as dark as you might think. Now, you might be picturing one side of the moon perpetually shrouded in darkness, a celestial mystery forever hidden from our sight. But that's not quite the case. This common misconception stems from the fact that we only ever see one face of the moon from Earth, thanks to a phenomenon called tidal locking. This has led many to believe that the other side, the so-called dark side, never sees the light of day. But let's clear up this space myth. In reality, all sides of the moon bask in glorious sunlight at different points in time. This is due to the moon's rotation on its axis and its orbit around the Earth, which allows for a lunar day-night cycle just like our own. So, the next time someone talks about the dark side of the moon, you can enlighten them. Space is a complete vacuum, right? Not so fast. Most of us have grown up with the idea that space is an absolute void. We imagine it as a place of complete and utter emptiness. But hold on to your telescopes, because this is not entirely true. While space is emptier than anything we can conceive on Earth, it's not a perfect vacuum. It's like a cosmic desert, scarce and desolate, but not completely devoid of life. There are tiny particles scattered throughout, like minuscule grains of sand in a vast, endless beach. These particles are often hydrogen and helium atoms, the most basic building blocks of the universe. And guess what else? Dust. Yes, even space isn't free from the common house chore nuisance. These tiny dust particles float around, remnants of cosmic events like supernovae and planetary formation. So next time you gaze up at the stars, remember space isn't as empty as it seems. Think space is freezing cold, you might be surprised. There's a common belief that space is a barren, icy void, but the reality? It's a little more complex. You see, temperatures in space are not universally frigid. They can vary greatly, depending largely on how close or far you are from a star, like our sun. For instance, when in direct sunlight, space isn't just warm, it's hot. It can reach temperatures of up to 250 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hotter than the highest setting on your oven. But when you're in the shadow of a planet or an asteroid, away from the sun's rays, space can be incredibly cold, plummeting to minus 450 degrees Fahrenheit. That's colder than any winter recorded on Earth. So, space isn't just a cosmic freezer, it's a place of extremes where temperatures can swing wildly from incredibly hot to bitterly cold. So, space can be a hotspot too. Let's review what we've learned today. We've journeyed through the cosmos, debunking myths and misconceptions. From the dark side of the moon, we discovered that it's not perpetually shrouded in darkness, but experiences both day and night, just like Earth. It's simply a matter of perspective and the moon's synchronous rotation. Next, we ventured into the vacuum of space, which isn't a complete vacuum after all. It's an almost perfect vacuum with sparse particles and radiation. It's this almost perfect vacuum that allows us to observe celestial bodies with minimal interference. Lastly, we delved into the temperature of space. It isn't uniformly freezing as often believed. Depending on where you are and whether you're in direct sunlight or in shadow, it can be extremely hot or cold. So next time you look up at the stars, remember, there's more to space than meets the eye. Thanks for joining us on this cosmic journey of myth-busting.